So right now, I came to you. First of all, what are the reasons why someone will go to a diet, will be referred to a dietitian? Because I know I was referred because I've been trying to lose this weight. I've done different things, got on my portion control, try to ex move more, stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And the weight was not going as fast as I wanted, considering I wasn't all the time consistent, right? Um, what are the reasons why they will send me to a dietitian?
You have a sister friend who you can talk to about your imperfections, vulnerabilities, uncensored truths, journeys, and victories. Welcome to the lounge.
Okay. So
Me.
I am trying to be a very good patient. I'm not that the best patient, and because I normally have a lot of questions. But so yes, I'm here for my consult.
So, um, if in a perfect world you get
Hmm.
to meet a dietitian who you can relate to and understands your food, your relationship with food, and so on and so forth, i.e., cultural, traditional, etc.,
Hmm.
then in a perfect world, when you meet that dietitian,
Hmm.
one of the first things that they want to know is, why are you there? Are you there because they sent you there? Are you there? You could have gotten a private consultation that you are getting right now.
Okay.
Or
So I am here because I I need to talk to a dietitian because I'm doing all these steps. I'm trying to walk like 10,000 steps a day. I've been really trying for like it's almost a month now, right?
yeah, it's almost a month.
And I consider myself, I like food. I do have a really good relationship with food. I really do. And I like it to look nice and I like it to taste good. I love seasoned food. I don't like too much fatty food, but I like seasoned food. So, but this I'd expected at least some of these pounds to have left me, and they're not going as fast as I want. So here, my lady, I need some magic.
So, and this is where we go. Now, my question to you is,
Mhm.
well, is this a short-term thing or is this a long-term thing? Is this a short-term goal or is this a long-term goal?
No, I want it to be a long-term goal. I want to be able to maintain my weight and also just to introduce to know that I'm letting my nutrition be part of my health walk, my health goals. I know food plays, like you said, food plays a big part in our total being, a total
Mm-hmm,
way of
mm-hmm.
life. So yes, I want to know if, hey, the things that I'm doing, is it good? Is it are things that I need to take out? Which hoping not. Or or control or less of kind of thing like that, just to make sure, okay, if I'm doing it okay, I know I'm doing it. Maybe there are other things that I need to incorporate, or am I doing too much? I'm looking for some answers,
Mm.
basically.
And so one of the ways, with everything, whether you go see, I know we all get tired of surveys. I get tired of surveys. I get tired of all these questionnaires. There's so many ways you could do it. But one thing that we did is I gave Fumi a questionnaire, very brief. I think it was 5 or 6 questions, and I'm
Yeah.
gonna go through those questions. These are kind of general questions that uh, we should ask ourselves, and it's applicable, to be honest, with anything that you have a goal towards. So when it comes to food, when it comes to nutrition, this is important. So I'll quickly go through it, then I'll answer the question that, or the questions, the A, B, C, D questions you've asked. So the first question was, what is your health goal? and I asked her to choose the most important. And we'll put this up so that you can see it as I'm going through the questions. And it's very important to understand exactly what is your goal.
Mhm.
I think you've given me more of a general goal, which is still important,
Okay.
but in terms of, is it just to lose weight? Is it just to eat healthier? Is it to do both? Is it just to understand more nutrition, have a better nutrition knowledge? Is it to maintain weight? Is it to lose? Is it you want to maintain, you don't want to lose? Those were the questions that we asked. So those are the questions you need to ask yourself when you're going to see the dietitian, because
Mhm.
we can only do as much as what we have in front of us.
Okay.
And honestly, no matter how much information we give you, if you are not in that place and where you are, it's useless information,
Okay.
right? It's still, if it doesn't resonate with you, it's still useless information, though it's information.
Okay.
The next thing I asked her was, what is or are your biggest struggles? She mentioned, well, I don't know if you actually mentioned, you gave me some answers. Portion control is one, making unhealthy food choices, or emotional eating. You actually well, no, you didn't mention emotional eating. You mentioned you have a good relationship with food.
Mhm.
So we now have to break that down. When you say a good relationship with food, what do you mean by that? Does that involve emotional eating? The other one was inconsistency, like inconsistency meaning you start one today, then you don't complete, those kinds of things, or lack of adequate exercise. You mentioned the exercise part as well. So these are the things someone will ask themselves. Then, how many diets have you tried? So now we are focusing specifically on weight loss management for today,
Mhm.
because
Okay.
otherwise we'll go all over the place. So her
Okay.
question was, how many diets have you tried in the past? That kind of gives us an idea. Yo-yoing all the time, or maybe you've only tried once or twice, or you've never tried. It helps us to know, are you going to stick with something or are you not going to stick with something?
Okay.
Then I think the last two is, what is motivating this change? Everyone, whether it's a counselor, whatever you're doing, is what is your motivation for it? So she said she got a referral from her doctor. That's one, but she actually wants to go. So one is orders from your doctor. Two, healthy future for herself and family. She mentioned that. Three, is it a do or die? So basically, an adverse event happen to your health? There are people where they almost died. So
Yeah.
now, it's a change. It's like, no, I want to live. I want to make changes. So
Mhm.
that's one motivation. Or is it about just fitting in a certain clothes? You're going to a wedding, so it's a short-term goal, right? Or to have more energy. It could
Done
be
that too.
more than one, right?
Yeah.
Then the last one to choose from was to feel more attractive. Also, that kind of tells us where you are. Is that part of it? Is that an emotional thing or not? Where your mindset is. Or, and then the
Mhm.
last one, I did put a section in there that says still working on it. And it's fine if you're still working on it.
Yeah.
So for me, answer this question. The last one was about exercise. Do you look forward to exercising? Do you don't look forward to exercising? Sometimes never also helps us to tell you. Now, there are some dietitians that are also fitness trainers.
Mm, okay.
So, I mean, because you could be a dietitian and an adult with other things.
Okay.
So, for me, we should have a countdown. Three, two, one. Your consultation starts now. I know you answered this question, and I'll go to that specific question and see what your answer was. What is motivating this change? And Fumi said to have a healthier future for myself and family.
Yes.
Now, that's a very good motivator. My
Mhm.
next question is, how are you going to sustain this? What is going to help you maintain this? Because, I mean, frankly, your kids might care, they might not care.
That's true. Um, so do I answer that?
Yes, please.
Um, well, for now, none of them are 18. So it's what I cook. That's what they eat for the most part, unless they go visit grandma or aunties. But for the most part, it's what I cook. So I know I influence that part of things a lot right now. And obviously, and also they're learning to cook or prepare food. So I would like to be able to show them ways that they can prepare food that I know when they get out of my house or live on their own, they're able to bring that to into their own families and their lifestyle of cooking, not something they have to think about. So,
Okay. Now, I have a question.
mm-hmm,
When, yes, they're not 18, and yes, there's a few years before they get to 18
mm-hmm,
and potentially leave the nest,
yeah.
go out into the world, then what happens? Is your goal, would your goal remain the same, or would your motivation remain the same?
Well, I'm hoping it becomes like a second habit to me that that's just the way I make food normally because I know it's good for me and I know it's good for whoever I serve it to. I think that is how I look at food right now. If it's good for me to eat, I'll continue eating it, right? I might make a tweak to it, maybe the way it tastes, the way it's the texture kind of thing, because I'm a visual looking eater or the way I present it, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I'll make it mine,
Okay.
whatever it is. So even if it's beans I have to eat, I might not just boil beans and eat it with bread. I might do something different with it.
So you enjoy cooking, basically.
I do enjoy cooking.
And this is so when you come to that first visit,
Mm-hmm.
really what should happen, it doesn't always happen, to be honest. There are people who have come to myself and they didn't have a good experience with a dietitian because, and it's with anything or any profession. You have the ones that, I think because of the nature of the profession, we tend to get into a military kind of you do this, you do this, you eat this, you don't eat this, you did it, you did it. But life doesn't work that way.
Mm-hmm.
So when you first come, your first appointment is always getting to know the individual.
Mm, okay.
It should not, and I don't, and I know a lot of dietitians who don't, that in that first session we're telling you what not to do and to do. You've
Okay.
already come with the notion that they're going to tell you've already built the wall.
Yeah. Mm.
So can you imagine, I'm telling you, don't do that, you probably never show up at all
Mm.
after that, right?
That's
And
true.
that's the end of it. And
Yeah.
yes, that will affect you, but at the end of the day, I've failed at my job, right?
Okay.
So, well, that's how I see it,
Okay.
because I'm there to support. I'm a support.
Mm.
I'm not there to tell you exactly what to do. I'm there to support you to make a healthier or the best healthier decision for yourself. So
Okay.
all these questions I'm asking you to understand your train of thought,
Okay.
um, where you are with food. What does food mean to you? There are people who don't like cooking. There are people who actually they need to lose weight, but they don't have a good relationship with food. They actually, and some people actually, it's not because they eat too much, it's because they eat so little, and whatever they eat is not very healthy.
Mm.
So that's one part. The
Okay.
social, then we have to ask in terms of your demographics, your
Okay.
height, what's your current weight, your
Mm.
genetics.
But what does
Because,
genetics have to do if my grandma was eating 5 plates of rice? Does that mean I need to eat 5 plates of rice? Or what does that have to do? Like,
well, Two things. Number
Mm,
one, your genetics. You can't change your genetics. No matter what you do, you can't change your genetics. So there are some things that are going to remain as. Doesn't mean you can't make adjustments, but
okay.
the results that you're gonna see in someone whose genetics where the metabolism goes on like an F1 car is
Mm-hmm.
different. So that's
But
one.
what? Okay, so
But
I've had
your
issues with this whatever thing about
Well, let me
genetics.
answer your second one though about the five rice and five
Yeah.
plates of rice. This that second part is in as
Mm-hmm.
much as genetics plays a part, but the second
Mm-hmm.
part is our environment has changed. The
Okay.
way we do things has changed. Your
Okay.
grandma may have been having five plates, number one, may have been having five plates of rice, but
Mm-hmm.
her activity level was ridiculous.
Okay.
Number two, she may have been having five plates of rice. It's home cooked, it's natural, it doesn't have no form of additives. Even when they use lard and so on and so forth, it
Mm-hmm.
was still in more of a natural processing.
Okay.
So you have to take those things into consideration.
Okay. So a little bit probably in depth about the genetics. What does that really mean? When you
So
say you have to like there's some things in your genetics that you can't change. So like what? What are some examples?
your genetics basically is a predisposition of what you have when you come into this world. Whether you're
Okay.
going to be tall, whether you're going to be short, whether you're going to be dry, bold, skinny, or whether you're going to be round, or maybe you're not going to be round, whether you're going to have hips or you're not going to have hips.
Mm,
It also plays a part in your food, how you digest
okay.
your food, your digestive system, how you digest your food. Some foods will agree with you better, some foods will not agree with you. For example, cholesterol.
Okay.
So when you go and we check your cholesterol, so I may be interchanging here because I'm also wearing the PA hat. So therefore I can go more in depth. When we check your cholesterol level,
Mm-hmm.
there are people who it's called familial. That means genetics basically. Your cholesterol will forever be high or just a little above normal. You are on medication, you are exercising, you're an athlete, but your cholesterol is always just up there a little bit.
Okay.
Genetics.
Hmm.
There are some people, diabetes, let's go to diabetes. How when you eat you might eat, let's say, carrot cake,
Okay.
and you eat the same quantity of carrot cake that the next person has. How your sugar will respond, your sugar level will respond, or your body will respond
Mm-hmm.
is different.
Okay.
Your sugar level might go to 10. That other person's sugar level will still go up because it's sugar, right?
Mm,
But it goes only to 6 or to 7.
okay.
But now here that you are killing yourself, and this is where it comes to individual. We gotta individualize the diet. You gotta individualize your lifestyle. You're killing yourself saying, I need to eat carrots every day. I need to just stick to salad every day because whatever I eat, everything goes up.
Mm-hmm.
But have you really, really looked at what you're eating and how your body responds? You're saying, I can't eat all these foods because they say I can't eat all these foods.
Okay.
But have you looked at what you can and cannot eat or how your body responds to it? And this brings us now to what I will give you to take home
Okay.
because you can't do everything at the same appointment.
Okay.
What I will ask the patient or the client
Mm-hmm.
is to do a food diary.
Mm, okay.
Now, a food diary isn't just write down what you eat and that's it. A
Okay.
food diary, and honestly, everybody responds to a food diary different because again, it's looking into your life,
Okay.
right?
Mm-hmm.
You have to write every single thing that you put in your mouth. That's one.
Mm-hmm.
You have to put down the quantity that
Well, you see, I know you were going to that one. How do I quantify?
So in the beginning, honestly, just be general. If you feel like average it, because we can't get into the, oh, it has to be exactly 1 cup and you write 1 cup. That we could get to later. It
No,
really isn't as important.
okay, so I was at one time I was doing, I think it was kind of like something like a Weight Watchers kind of thing, right? It gives you how many points you put to something,
Right,
and like depending on, so if I go eat one chicken breast and 1 spoon of rice and 5 broccoli, I can count that, right?
right.
But if I eat 1 spoon of rice and 1 spoon of potato leaves, and that is cooked with palm oil and has fish and all the goodies in there, right? And I drink 5 ounces of water. How do I write that?
So this comes back to who you see as a dietitian.
Mm,
This also, your initial food diary
mm-hmm,
is a general food diary that will apply to everyone, no matter what you eat, no matter what's in it. What we are looking at is not the nitty gritty of what you're eating, but
okay.
to understand what you eat and to understand the pattern.
Okay.
So the first thing, and we have to explain that because
Okay.
that's where the patient gets frustrated, and that's the end of that.
Mm,
So all we need is what you eat. You can say, you can literally write potato leaves. If you
okay.
want, you could, when you go in there, if they don't know, they will ask you roughly what's the ingredients in there. The main ingredient, you don't have to break it down. But now, okay, you had potato leaves. Maybe roughly about half a cup was on the rice, and I had
Mm,
about half a cup. About. Don't
mm-hmm,
try measuring, just gauge it.
okay.
So, and then you also have to put in the beverages, whatever you drink, your snacks, whatever you put in your mouth has to be on there.
Mm,
The time you do that has to be on there. A good
okay.
food diary, right,
Yeah, okay.
has
Yeah.
to be on there. And then what, oh, how you're feeling.
Mm,
If you want a very good food diary, your symptoms or how you're feeling when you got this or ate this should be next to it as well.
so is
So,
that something that you have that other people? I don't, I wouldn't mind keeping a food. So how long? Okay, first of all, how long do I have to keep this food diary?
so minimum 3 days. But
Okay.
having told you all that I said, 3 days really doesn't tell me much, right? You could
Yeah.
have been on vacation for 3 days. Your
Yeah.
eating is going to be different. So
Correct.
honestly, a 2 week, 2 to 3 week food diary.
Okay. And it
If you
depends
were
if it's
on
winter or
vacation,
it's summer.
exactly. But that kind of comes down the road because at the end of the day, it's
Yeah.
what you have, what I would like the patient to take from it
Mm-hmm.
is learning what the basics that you can take and apply
Mm-hmm.
to anything,
Anything else? Okay.
right? That's
Okay.
it.
So what, okay, so say I know this is past our first appointment right now. I know we'll try to wrap it up. So maybe give me the summary. Maybe we'll have to do a part 2 of this because I plan to bring my diary and so you figure out.
Definitely. Definitely.
So in my head, I like to know what's coming up, right? So say we finish, you gave me my handouts and I'm skipping out of your room because hooper looper, I have to to let you know. Um Everything I eat. And well, it might be a good thing too for me because you eat stuff sometimes some days and Or some days I go like till 3 and I haven't eaten anything, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm famished.
You
Like
see,
why?
you also
Yeah.
see your
See,
pattern.
yeah. And so after I bring that back to you, so I did it for a 2 week period. I bring it back to you. Then how are you gonna regulate my diet? How are you gonna see how that works with my genetics and all that stuff? You're gonna tell me right away, don't eat this kind of thing?
No.
Dang, okay.
Rome was not built in a day.
Okay. That's good news.
So this is why we go back to one of the first questions. What is your goal? Is it a short-term
Mm,
goal? Is it a long-term goal? If this is something that wants to become a lifestyle,
mm.
we're not going to get all that you want in the first or second or third appointment.
So okay,
You
okay,
will
okay.
get something from it. You will be making changes
Okay.
cognitively,
Mm-hmm.
but what you want to see is not going to happen in 2 sessions.
Okay, so what how long am I thinking for like a diet of a comprehensive dietitian kind of relationship thing? Is it something I have to do like a year, like seeing a psychologist, or is it something I can do in 3 months and I'm done if I want to, considering I want to do like a lifetime change kind of thing, like a lifestyle change? Um, is it something that has to be going, like I have to have a yearly appointment? I have to see every 2 months, every month? What does that look like?
So again, depending on the individual, what their goal is, minimum 3 months. That
Okay.
could be one session a month. So
Okay.
you have at least 3 sessions. By the end of 3 sessions, you have an idea what to do, and also by 3 months, you have made 3 appointments. You are invested.
Okay.
Because at that point, if you
I need
haven't
to
made it,
commit.
yeah, you are committed, you're
Mm.
invested, because there are stages, right?
Yeah.
But minimum 3 months. The most is dependent. But once you get to that 3 months, to start seeing some changes is between the 3 and 6 months.
Mm.
Sometimes you actually see it almost within the first month. It depends on what's going on lifestyle wise and why you're
So
there,
like what
right?
changes like will you see within that short time? Like what changes?
So, one of the first things is you become more conscious of what you're doing.
Okay. Even
It
without them telling you don't cut
don't
this
do
off, don't
this,
eat
don't
this,
cut
don't
this out,
yeah.
don't do this. You're still eating almost the same things, but you become more conscious because now you're aware of your pattern. I think
Mm-hmm.
this is not something that is new to
Mm-hmm.
anyone. You
Yeah.
know what you eat generally, but
That's right.
until you write your vision down and make
Mm-hmm.
it plain, it does
Mm-hmm.
not become plain and you don't see it.
Preach on, preacher.
So you have to write it down. Then it
Mm-hmm.
becomes plain to you. So you become conscious
Okay.
of what you're doing. And
Okay.
if you are going to do, even though no one has said, oh, don't do extra sugar, you may
Mm-hmm.
not, oh, extra sugar, or, should I be doing this? Or I haven't eaten, oh my goodness, I need to eat something, at
Mm.
least something small.
Yeah.
You start identifying your pattern. If
Oh,
you didn't had never identified your food language or your relationship with food or why you eat, this is the time you start figuring that out.
okay. You said language and food, and we've been talking about languages here. So, what is a food language?
Your food language is your relationship, pretty much. Your food language is what you tell yourself, why you're eating and what you're eating.
So, like, if I normally don't eat Snickers, and then all of a sudden I eat 5 Snickers for that day.
Yeah, that's a language right there. You have to figure out, why did you eat 5 Snickers? Maybe you felt
Mm.
like eating 5 Snickers, but this is where you have to figure out what made you eat 5 Snickers. So, what made you eat 5 Snickers?
Not really remember. I truly don't remember. Why age five?
Were you
Because
hungry? It may be you were hungry. That's all there
maybe, and that
was
was
there,
all that
and
was right
you
there.
had
Yeah.
it. Is that a bad thing? Or you were, it was a busy day, you were stressed out, and you had the five Snickers, and it made you feel better. Like, there is a reason why we do
There's a
things.
reason. Yeah.
Every single thing you do,
But
there's a
yeah, I do like the idea though of a having like a food journal or food diary, whatever you called it. And I think I'll have, if you don't have one, I don't mind. I'll probably have to make one or find one that
I
I will
can
use.
I will we will put it up. So I'll put
Okay.
a few resources. You can find a food diary anywhere. You could just do it on a piece of paper yourself. All you have to remember is the things I mentioned: what you're eating, when you're eating it,
Mhm.
um, why you're eating it, and also the quantity of what you're eating. The
Okay.
other thing about the food diary, why it's that
Mhm.
important,
Mhm.
is once you've written it,
Mhm.
you are the one writing it. You may or
Correct.
may not share it to anyone in your home,
Mhm.
but the mere fact that you now have to take this,
Mhm.
which is it becomes sacred to you because it is still your relationship with food on paper.
Correct.
Now you have to share it with someone,
Mhm.
with a stranger potentially,
Right.
or with someone who, so now they have to see you on that paper.
Yeah, my whole mouth and my whole belly.
So that alone is your first step to also say, I'm ready.
No. Yeah, I'll probably make one. I like doing those kind of things. So maybe if
So we'll
somebody
put
wants
it
to,
up.
let me know. We'll put it up. I'll probably make one. I would like to have that.
So
I think
homework
it will be
number
really
one,
cool. Mm-hmm.
we need a food diary.
A two
So we'll
week,
be back
3 days, 2 week
2
diary,
weeks.
2 weeks diary.
Yeah.
Hey,
Because it's difficult to do 2 weeks. It's
yeah,
difficult to remember to do 2 weeks.
yeah, yeah.
There are apps you could put it up, you could use. We'll put some up, or
Okay.
just write it if it's easier for you, faster, because again, life happens. You have other
Yeah.
things going on. You just jot down on your phone and do
Mm-hmm.
that.
Yeah.
Homework number two.
Cool. Okay.
Yes, this is where the military part comes in.
Lord, and you were nice the whole time.
Well, how you gonna get some? How you gonna get a change? The second thing is you need an accountability partner.
Okay.
I I'm assuming you're gonna do everything you say you're gonna do, but trust me, people have come in with food diaries. You look at it, you know that's not what they eat. You know either that's not what they normally eat, or
Mm-hmm.
that they never wrote those down. In fact, the handwriting looks like their kids' handwriting,
What if I just say anytime I put something in my mouth, write it down? I employ
or
my
they don't
kids.
put everything down.
Mm. Okay. An
So
accountability partner.
you need an accountability partner.
Okay.
Again, Rome wasn't built in a day. This is a
Yeah.
life.
So
This is
what is the
a lifestyle.
accountability partner supposed to do? Like check my
I
or
mean,
remind me to write down
it's
or
entirely up to you. You do have to tell them what your homework is, what you were
okay.
asked to do,
Okay.
and then they would then ensure that you do it as requested.
So they keep an eye. If they see I'm eating and I'm not writing, they'll be like, lady girl, you forgot to put that down.
Right. But you must be careful. And this is where people go off the rail or then stop, is because if you find an accountability partner that's not necessarily supportive, like, yeah, they see you eating, why you eating that? Why you don't need that.
No.
You don't need that. You already telling yourself, oh, I'm doing something wrong. You don't need someone else to tell you you're doing something wrong, which is why with the chicken, I already knew.
Well, fried chicken is good.
It is good. I knew this, and and for the exact dish that I was making, it actually is the best way to do it. I knew this. Now you're telling me that I know. Don't tell me. Thank you. But that's what I'm saying. That you don't need. I mean, he meant it in a good way, so I'm not. It wasn't that big of a deal. But I'm just saying, when you are trying to make a change like that, something so
Right.
personal, you need all they need. Their job, you can make it clear. Their
Mm-hmm.
job is to just make sure you write things down, not what you're eating or not eating.
Okay. Well, that's good. Good to know that. But I know as part of my consult that we always look at. So this is I guess I walked out of my consult, right, with my homework. Am I done before
Yeah,
I go to the end?
you walked out of your consult.
Okay, now I'm out of my
And
consult.
we scheduled
We
that we will
schedule
see
my
you
next
in two
appointment
weeks.
in
Yeah, we
2 weeks.
schedule your next appointment in 2 weeks. I've
Okay.
taken your height and weight, and I've asked you to bring in some blood work if you have any,
Okay.
to have your or if it's within the
Year.
your clinic that you go
Mm,
to, then the dietitian will have access to it.
do it. Okay. So I thank you for this visit today. So I'm right outside your door now, and right now, I'm your podcast host. I'm your
Yeah.
podcast co-host. So, you know how we always like to look at things that we talk about, right? From a biblical point of view, because that is kind of like our goalpost, our standard, the way we want to view different things in life. So,
So sorry, before you go there, I would just
uh-huh.
say at the end I will just give a few pointers for the our audience in terms of
Mm-hmm.
when you're looking at healthy changes, weight changes, and so on. I was treating you as a patient. You want everything in one. It doesn't longevity. You have
Yeah,
to
you
slow
have
and
to keep
steady.
going. Yeah, slow and steady. Well, everyone, I hope you followed along with that visit. I think it was fun. It was not as stressful or as intimidating as I thought it was going to be.
Be.
Um and I also I think it's because you gave me time to ask the questions. You gave me time. You explained it to me in terms that I could actually understand, and what I didn't understand, you actually broke it down further, so I'm able to understand it better. And you gave me things to look out for, and the exercise, yet it looks like it might be tedious, but I like challenges, so I think it will be a good challenge. And I like journaling, so I think it will just be something else to add to my journal
Hmm.
thing. So I'm looking forward to doing it.
I mean, you'll be surprised
Mm-hmm.
that I see patients. So as a PA, I see patients as the dietitian, and people who have. I mean, information is out there. So much
Mm-hmm.
information is out there, but it makes a huge difference. What we talked about at the beginning, it makes a huge
Mm-hmm.
difference if who you're seeing, a counselor or dietitian that you're able to relate to. I've had people who have had struggles for years, and not just
Mm-hmm.
weight, just other things, and
Mm-hmm.
immediately that they are we meet and we have these
Mm-hmm.
sessions, and we this is part of my passion actually, that
Yeah.
we are able to incorporate our own foods. You can't
Mm-hmm.
tell me to now change my whole diet completely, because
Mm-hmm.
our food is attached to not just survival,
Yeah.
not just trying to stay alive,
Mm-hmm.
right? There's so many relationships with it.
Yeah.
So now you tell me all even if all I was eating was meat and potatoes
Mm.
and vegetables, now you want me to eat what? A Mediterranean diet? So
Yeah.
I flipped it.
Yeah.
Let's not even say, oh, it's just a black thing. No.
Mm-hmm.
Now,
Yeah.
a Caucasian who all they eat meat and potatoes and
Mm-hmm.
cabbage, and maybe
Mm-hmm.
that's for them that's
Yeah.
good. Well,
That's
some.
like a home
A
warm
home warm,
comfort
yeah. And
food
now
kind of thing.
I should be eating a Mediterranean diet. What the heck is a
Yeah.
Mediterranean diet in the first place? You want me to put olive, like, but that's what
Yeah.
I'm saying. So
Yeah.
when you're able to relate, just the
Mm-hmm.
small things make a
Yeah.
huge difference, and you see a huge change in their health, in their
Mm-hmm.
blood work, which also reflects their health
Mm-hmm.
overall. So it's always good
Well,
to be able to see someone you
uh,
can relate to.
so what I'm looking forward to in my second visit, because I think listeners will want to know why they should subscribe or tune in or come back for to listen to the second part of this when I come for my second consult
And your third,
is okay, let's do second
then
first.
after the third, you start paying.
Oh Lord. So I have three visits free and then I start paying. We didn't even talk about the pricing. Okay,
You'll
we'll
have
talk.
insurance. If you don't have insurance, then you got to pay out of pocket.
Okay,
Insurance covers your dietitian sessions to a point.
to a point. Okay, well that's good to know. That's very good to know because
Hmm.
them insurances take a lot of money for me. Um, so on my second visit, I'll bring my. I think I did ask this. I bring my food diary, and then we'll go over that, and then you. What are you gonna do with that?
We're gonna look at it. We're
Mm-hmm.
gonna see if we together can
Mm-hmm.
identify your pattern,
Okay.
identify the foods that you eat.
Okay.
Are they cultural foods, traditional foods?
Okay.
Identify um, what your emotions are with these foods. And I
Mhm.
don't always stress on the emotions at the first in that first or second session.
Mhm.
But really it's we together we look at what you're eating. And now we
Okay.
gotta go in we will go into okay, you're eating potato leaves. What exactly is in potato leaves kind of thing,
Mm. Okay.
right? The
So
main
we'll just
ingredients.
okay. We'll look.
Yeah.
We'll dive like you understand what I'm eating. I probably need to understand why you're questioning what I'm eating, but we'll look at that food.
Yeah,
Let's look at
because
the food.
now we want to relate that to
Mhm.
your goal. Your
Okay.
goal is to lose weight. Okay,
Mhm.
so now we see, so what are we looking at? What are we changing something? Are we adjusting something? Are we moving something? Are we not doing anything? Is
Anything.
it
Okay.
really your food
Okay.
that's not causing the diet changes? Is it
Mm.
other things? So there's so many reasons why, again, this is only about weight loss, that
Mhm.
you may not be losing weight
Okay.
and you've been trying. It's not
Yeah.
because it's lack of effort.
Mhm.
We have to look at the other reasons why.
Okay. Well, listeners, I am super excited for the second one.
Are you?
I am. I
You're gonna
really
be
am.
putting your business out there.
Hey, y'all, I told y'all I have a very good relationship with food, and I do really like the food that I cook. And that brings us to the sponsor for this podcast today, which is Fumi PB Cooking Channel, where we prepare food, basically what I eat, because I do like food to look nice and juicy and seasoned. So you get to see some of the things I eat, some of the things I make for my family, and maybe it's something that you will like to cook for yourself. And I do also write things that are related to food and inspiration on fumipb.com. So go and visit it and come along on this journey with us, where we elevate simple things, we make them look super attractive and all to God's glory. So check it out.
Like the Old Testament tray that you had
The Old Testament
for
tray.
Easter.
Oh,
Your
yeah.
Last Supper tray.
Whatever. That was not the last of a tree. I'm sure
If you
Jesus is
missed
not
that
a cheese.
episode, she had what she had for Easter, and it looked to me like the Last Supper tray. So in testament to her, elevated. There were simple things on the tray, but it looked so nice and aesthetic. So
But
check
yeah,
out the Fubi channel.
yes, check it out. But one thing before we leave today, since I think I've still been out of your office,
Yeah, you're
we
still out of
keep
my
going back
office.
at the door.
And this
You know,
actually happens in real life. And then
I
I'll be
know.
like, I I have another patient waiting.
Oh, but okay. So now in the Sisters Let's Talk podcast lounge,
Mhm.
there's this scripture that I have to share. Ecclesiastes 5:18, and I'll read it. It says, "This is what I've observed to be good, that is appropriate for a person to eat, to drink, and to find satisfaction in their toilsome labor under the sun during the few days of life God has given them, for this is their lot." And I'm sure I'm probably taking it out of context.
Well,
But but it says to eat and drink and to find satisfaction in their toilsome labor. I've worked hard and now I just want to enjoy my food and really drink as much as I want. Obviously, I'm not going to go overboard and
mhm.
intentionally hurt myself, right? But can you see why some people are scared to go see a dietitian? Because now it feels like I'm not doing it out of satisfaction anymore.
Well, one of the good things, since you're seeing myself as a dietitian, is that I enjoy eating. I love food too.
Yeah,
So
that's good to know.
my philosophy is that we should eat. Yes, we apply some knowledge to what we eat and how we
Hmm.
eat, and etc., etc. But food is meant to be enjoyed. You
Thank
can't
you.
look like you're starving. Like,
Thank you.
hello.
Thank you.
And in response to your scripture, yes, you know, it can be tweaked. Your application to it can be tweaked. But I agree with you. And even yes, and there are even more scriptures that say that God wants you to prosper. As your soul prospers, he wants your health to prosper.
Right.
Meaning you can't be looking like a quote unquote kwashiorkor, or like a stick. There are ways you can lose weight and look healthy there,
Yeah.
and not starve yourself and still enjoy food. And it's
Hmm.
not like you're eating just to survive, just to
Yeah.
live, just to stay alive.
Yeah.
Then what's the point? You gotta enjoy stuff, man.
Yeah. Because I really, and I, as I would say, I have never, like, there's some people that say you have a vision for, like losing weight and you need to be this. I have
Yes.
never had that vision for me, for me to be this.
We shall
I,
have this conversation in the next session, actually,
yes,
because
yeah. So when
we do have the reality, the real, and
yeah,
the unreal, and
yeah,
what you're told.
yeah. I just want to be able to climb a stair, not puff and huff at the top of it. And I have no problem with the way I look, and my hubby doesn't either.
Well, I was going to say, if you become 120 pound, I think there will be some issues
Yes, there will be
from
some issues.
someone else.
There'll
So,
be some issues. So no, but I am a very big supporter of loving yourself the way you are and looking forward to the person you want to be and be thankful for both of them. Um and seriously, that is part of the main thing behind the children's book I wrote is just be thankful that you have ears and you can hear. Just be thankful that for those thigh rolls, because they're there and they do serve you some way, somehow.
and if you don't like it, you could do something
If
about
you
it.
don't like it, you can do something about it, but
Yes,
don't hate
and
it.
not
Don't
complain
hate it.
about
Yeah,
it or
that's
hate
right.
it,
Mm.
but do it in a
If
healthy way. because
Correct.
there is a healthy and then there is unhealthy, because then people get fixated,
Yeah.
um, and then we get into anorexia and body image issues.
Yeah. So we're not doing all that. So,
So
well, thank you.
we shall be putting up the resources that we
Yeah.
talked about, especially the food examples of food diary, blank food diary charts that you can utilize, or
That
apps
you'll
that
be
you
able
can
to, yeah, you'll be
utilize.
able to download and maybe I'll share the one I make. We'll see. I'm looking forward to it.
You started this journey, man. It has to be shared. Well,
Yeah,
we'll
but
share some things.
yes, we'll
Yeah.
share something that you can use. But this was really fun. Thanks, Lucia.
Oh, you're welcome.
I really enjoyed
Anytime.
that conversation. It was really good. Um, like I said, dietitians have scared me before. Because the thought of it. And I hope somebody else, maybe you've had a referral or it's something that you've researched and it's something that you need to do, that you'll be able, with few of these tips, one, find out the kind of person that you would like to see and talk to, or research the ones in your community and see if there's somebody that um you can see. Maybe even just starting with the journal or asking yourself some of the questions Lucia asked me or I asked her, and finding those details. And you can always send us a question
Mm-hmm.
on the show. We do have our email, hello@sltpodcast.com, that you can send us a question, and the link will be right in the description box. And I am sure Lucia will be able to help all of us, or most of us. I don't know if we might be
Free
to start
consultation.
a pre-consultation. We might
No,
have to,
this is. I'm not a lawyer. I don't do pro bono.
or you might have a sisters that stock discount. We're not ruling that off.
There we
Yeah.
go.
You
We gotta
might have
eat.
a, we gotta
We
eat.
gotta
I know,
eat.
I know,
You know,
I
we
know.
gotta
No
pay the
pro bono.
bills.
No, no, no pro bono. But yes, put your email down before you've seen what Lucia does. And I, again, for me, I think it's that passion that she has. And this girl can cook. I know she can. She can put stuff, throw stuff down, and maybe one day she'll even do a video of her to putting something together for us. You
Who
never
me?
know.
Are you talking about you or me?
No, I was talking about Lucia. Um,
I.
so
This is the wrong. This is an imposter. No, I. We're referring to you. There's a difference. There's a
there's a
difference
diff-
when you cook and when you love doing
well,
it.
I didn't say you love cooking. I say you can cook.
Yeah.
Where's the lie in that? None. She can cook. She might not like to do it every day, but she can cook when she needs to. And I know my brother likes to eat, and he eats good. So
He does, but even on the days where I mistakenly put too much salt, he still
he
will
still
eat
eats.
it. And he'll be like, Lucia, oh, this is lockjaw. Wow. What happened?
Yep, it does happen. But um, we'll end this because we'll keep talking. We'll end this podcast here today, but we hope you were able to gain something from it. And like always, have an awesome, awesome, blessed week, knowing that you're loved and highly favored, and God has given you everything you need for life and godliness, and to live that life that God Himself intended for you to live. So, thank
Amen.
you for joining us in the lounge today. Have an awesome week.
See you next time.